I saw Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock when they came to the O2. That was great.
Saturday
Gone.
we were gonna go to the Sunday show.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was that last because they both been this year. You saw Chappelle.
Yeah.
I saw Rock separately.
I saw Chappelle last September. Sorry, last October.
Sorry.
October.
Oh, wow, is it? Wow, I still
It was
remember
October,
that podcast
man. That was
in
last
the
October.
Hammersmith.
Hammersmith Apollo. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And now they did a show together, which that was how did they even do it logistically?
Bro, it was actually tiring. Like going to a show like that was tiring because you have warm-up acts. You have Jeff Ross, who's the same guy who was doing the roast guy.
Yeah.
You had Ali Wong, who came out.
Who's Ali Wong?
She's a girl from Always Be My Maybe, Chinese girl.
Funny. She's funny.
She's really funny. I quite like her.
Okay.
Then there was another guy called Earthquake who they had.
Earthquake.
And I think we arrived bang on time. But at the end of the show, Danielle Rawlings came out.
Okay.
So he's a comedian as well. I don't know if he did a warm-up set. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But yeah, it was those three. Then it went into Chris Rock. Then it went into Dave Chappelle.
Oh, they went on at the same time?
No, they ordered it separately. But at the end of Chris Rock's hour and 10-minute set,
full set,
I was shattered, man. Like I was
so
really tired.
How long have you been at the show at this point?
So we got in at 8-ish.
Right.
The whole show finished at about 11. And it was pretty non-stop, to be fair. We got in, Jeff Ross had just started, then the two warm-ups. In between, Jeff Ross came back on, did a roast again. Then it went to Chris Rock. Then there was a 5-minute gap. Then it went into Dave Chappelle. So everything was done by 11. But it was tiring because when you go and see a full comedian for a full hour and you're fully laughing and investing, you feel drained.
Yeah.
You feel a bit like, oh, that was a lot. That was good, but that was a lot.
Yeah, because you always wonder, I wish I did a longer set. But actually, to be honest, if you're doing an hour, max hour and a half set, that's a good set, man.
So he dominated that, left. Dave comes on, and I was like, oh, I'm not ready, I'm still really tired.
Intermission.
Yeah, I still carried on with the whole clapping and cheering and stuff and fully getting my laughs in.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was really good. But there's such different comedians. There's nothing similar about them.
Which is good. So they're complementary.
None of them are complimentary. They're just, how do I explain it?
They're great in their own rights.
Yeah, but Chris isn't storytelling. Chris's premise. He'll give you a premise.
Yeah.
He'll say, this is the premise, and then weave into it. Yeah. And then I'll do that. And he was doing the same kind of sayings as he would in the Never Scared stand-up. So he will repeat the same line again and again. So in Never Scared, he had this line saying, the government hates rap. The government hates rap. The government hates rap. And then he would carry on into the next part of the joke. Then he'd say, the government hates rap. He'd do that again and again and again. Not as a filler, but just to drill it into you and then go further. So he goes, layer 1, catchphrase, layer 2, catchphrase, layer 3, catchphrase. And I was like, damn, he's really smart with this. But when Dave came on, he was just telling you random stories and it was all hilarious. That shows the difference between the two. He doesn't have to sit there and write things out per se. He has a story in his head.
His delivery is really different as well. I find with Chris, I'm calling him Chris, like Chris Rock.
Yeah.
It's just more punchy. I find the same thing about Kevin Hart. They're louder and more punchier. Whereas Dave, it's almost like he's sitting there whispering. He sits on a stool and he just kind of tells a bit of a story. And it's just so smooth. I find his comedy really easy. It's easy, but it's just so clever and witty as well at the same time.
Yeah.
I wonder, did they do the set? Did you see Chris Rock this year?
I didn't.
So I wonder if he did the same set.
So I heard it wasn't the same set. I heard it was different. Dave's set was a little bit similar. So about 10 minutes of it was the same from last September, October.
Did they do anything together? Were they on stage at the same time?
It was all separate.
Okay. Any reference to Will Smith stuff? Or?
A little bit. He gave one away where he said, fuck that hostage video. I don't agree with it. Piss off. Basically, he was still quite angry about it.
Hostage video? Oh, what Will came out and said?
Yeah, he's fuck his hostage apology video. No, I'm not about it. And I was like, that's a fair point. It did look like he was being taken hostage. So he's not ready for that conversation just yet. And this is where Dave, I think, took it up a level. He made references to one of Chris's bits he did after he followed him. So imagine Chris has done a joke
of that show.
Wow. Dave followed it in and then added it in and slipped it in. And I was like, that's really smart.
Yeah. I mean, that's like improv on steroids.
Yeah.
To do it at that level.
Yeah. So
what was the venue?
That was super cool. It was a bit about two women, two names of two women that you saw.
Okay.
I can't tell it now because it's not going to make sense.
No, you can't tell it because you're not funny.
No, I can't tell it because it won't make sense. 'Cause you
Not
have
funny.
to listen to all of
He
Chris's
had to
bit,
be there.
and then you hear his reference,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it slots in perfectly.
This is at the O2 or Hammersmith?
This is at the O2. Now the
the big
O2,
arena.
I didn't like it.
O2 is the big arena, isn't it?
O2's massive.
The one where we got the fruit milkshake recently.
Fruit milkshake. Yes, there.
And the
yes,
tennis
yes,
happens there.
That's it. Yeah. The Millennium Dome, the old Millennium Dome.
That's it.
That's
yeah,
it. That's the
yeah,
best.
yeah.
That's the best way to tell
That's
people.
it. Yeah.
So it was too big to the point where
Too big.
I
Was
was
cordoned off.
I was side. No. It wasn't that. Imagine Chris is standing here and the stage is here, right? And it all goes out. I was on this side, the right hand side of him. So sorry, his left hand side, my right looking on, and my hearing's back in it. So I'm like, shit, I can hear it echo at the very back of the venue because the venue's so large and so far back. You hear him say something and then it bounces back there for 2 seconds on a delay. And I'm like, oh, I don't like this. You have to sort of tune it out of your ear and just enjoy what's in front of you. But by doing that, he has to leave a big gap in between his delivery.
Otherwise, he's hearing himself.
Otherwise, he's hearing himself and he's overwriting the joke and he's not letting the joke breathe. And then obviously it's a ripple effect with the laughter. So it's not all at once. It's like laugh, wave. And
So acoustically, Hammersmith is much better.
Hammersmith's more intimate. It's better. And it just feels like you're closer even though you're further away.
Yeah. No, I do like that about Hammersmith. You do feel like you're...
O2 is great for big events like the UFC where you can put it in the middle.
Sporting events.
Big concerts.
Big concerts, yeah.
But big concerts that have a stage that walks up to the middle.
Yeah.
Or like
the Ed Sheeran,
of the way in
Ed
at
Sheeran
least.
setup.
Yeah. Or like a Diljit setup, right?
Diljit.
Quarter of the way in, Diljit.
Okay.
See, I said this just to piss you off. Look at that.
When you
Rein it in.
When you have kids.
Rein it in.
No, we have to
rein
this.
it
When
in.
you have kids, what are you going to teach them?
Diljit, man.
Thank you. Please just as long as I don't care what you say.
No, I've got no problem with that.
Just teach your kids Punjabi.
Huh?
We are Punjabi. Teach them Punjabi, not white Punjabi. Punjabi. Diljit.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah,
Jesus, man.
Absolutely. Do you know, I'm going to speak to your dad, man. Like, just Diljit. Give you bloody Diljit and Sanjit and Diljit and Indijit.
Diljit Dosanjh.
Indivir.
Diljit Dosanjh.
Jagjit.
Sing Kyra. Right?
Kyra. Oh my God.
That's how they say it, man.
Your kids
Kyra.
are going to go to school and be like, oh, yeah, Mrs. Kyra.
Yeah, Mrs. Kyra. I was like, oh, cheers. Thanks.
Oh, God. Sanj's Mrs. Kyra.
She didn't change her surname, so she isn't.
That's why you need to blackmail her.
Tried to, didn't work.
You need to offer her things that are not on the board, man.
Tried to, didn't work.
There are things that Sanj wants.
Tried to, didn't work.
Listen. You say to her, woman, if you want your insulin, you change the name. Okay, you know where to press the buttons, all right. If you want your milk, you change your name. Sanj, if you're listening to this, I'm on your side and I know exactly which buttons to press for him as well. So
lactose-free milk.
Don't you worry.
Oh, man.
All right, cool, man. So you had a good
So
weekend.
it was good. I went with my brother and my bubby, which was nice.
Have they seen these comedians before?
Bal saw Dave a long time ago and Chris a long time ago.
Are they into comedy like you guys are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably more.
Wow, cool.
So Dave and Chris I was part into Dave and Chris by Bal. So he's got like a longer affinity to them than I do.
Got it.
Because he saw them when they were popping up in his late teen, early adult years. I was still very young when I was introduced to it, so I didn't really get the premise of the jokes.
Oh, we're too young. We just don't get them, man.
Yeah.
References.
So I was seeing Chris Rock Never Scared when I was a kid, and I didn't really get it, but I found some bits of it funny. Now when I watch it back, I'm like, I find all of this funny
all relatable
because
now,
it all makes sense, and I understand
yeah.
the current events that were happening at the time to make the jokes pop. It's really interesting to see how stuff like that evolves over time.
Have you seen Raw, Eddie Murphy?
You know what? I haven't watched any of the old Eddie Murphy stuff.
Eddie Murphy Raw is lit, man. But there's stuff in there you just cannot say.
But there's stuff in there also that when I hear it, I'm going to be like, isn't that a such and such bit? But it's not. It's other comedians have taken his premise and done something similar.
Yeah.
But he said it first.
Yeah. Like, again, growing up, you and me, Eddie Murphy is like, oh, he's Dr. Dolittle, he's no professor.
No, I never
he's
thought
like
that.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh, he's a PG guy. And then I saw him do Raw, and I was like, yo, Eddie likes to swear words.
All coming to America.
Yeah, yeah.
The royal
coming
is
to
clean, your
America.
highness.
Oh, shit, man. But yeah, we've spoken about it a lot, so, but comedy, love comedy, man.
Yeah, man, always worth it. A good Saturday night. And yeah, but we can move on to confessions because we've got some good confessions to move on to. Back in a sec.